Here we are, Module 17, your prospecting plan. You have come a long way. Think about it. It wasn't that long ago that you were struggling with prospecting, and embarking on a course and spending money on it, such as you did with this, may not have even been an option. You felt stuck. Yet here you are, Module 17 of 21. You haven't even embarked on the 6 weeks of support, and you probably haven't embedded these learnings in your prospecting fiber yet. This takes practice. Remember what I spoke about many modules ago about this concept of conference risk, which is the risk of learning something but not executing it. You're nearing those crossroads. You have brought a lot on board. You've done a lot of work. You are almost at the point where you need to put that into real life, real time action. I'm still here to support you. Today, you will put together your plan. You will bring a whole lot of things into one place and take that to the next level. Most advisors with a prospecting need do not have a plan. And that's where they go wrong. You know, and you've heard, and you've probably voiced this ratio before in your life, that planning is 80%, execution is 20%. What about if you fail to plan, you plan to fail? It comes off the tongue so easily, but how many people live into that concept? Very few, because planning doesn't result in immediate action. So why take all that 80% time to plan behind the scenes instead of sitting in front of a client and doing what you do, right? Well, you get that without the plan, you have no clients to sit in front of and do what you do. Through this course, you're doing the work. You're building the capacity within yourself to be self-generating and self-correcting when you go off on a tangent. You need to bring yourself back and continue to work on yourself and what you do to be the prospector that you want to be. The work is ongoing. Yes, you'll go from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. You'll move through those levels. But the work does continue because there's work on self and there's work on the plan. There's action to be taken. It may be easier, it may be smoother. You may start to love it, having come from a place of hating it, or at least being intimidated by it. So this is where it happens. No longer must prospecting be secondary. No longer must prospecting be when I have time, between other things, if the occasion occurs. You got to bring prospecting to top of mind. I know that it's often avoided because it's tough and it's intimidating. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, if it's not part of your structure and your routine, it will not be part of your plan and it will not contribute to your business. And you won't derive all of the benefits that you need to derive, and your business won't grow in the way that you want to. If you don't set time aside for it and there's no commitment, it's not going to happen. In my experience, there are two things that lead to prospecting failure: a bad plan or no plan, and bad or no execution. Think about it. There are no two other things that, if completely covered, would lead to successful prospecting. I'm ignoring your way of being and the work you do on yourself. But just in terms of the plan, if there's no plan and no execution, there's no prospecting. Now is the time for you to put that plan together and implement it for at least the next 6 weeks. During those 6 weeks, my support is in the form of a weekly video allowing you, or sharing with you, what to expect and how to execute and what should be happening, guiding you and holding you accountable to a point. And then you should have built the muscle to go and do it on your own, because it's really copy, paste, copy, paste. It's a matter of taking the learnings and repeating and repeating and repeating. You'll see in the document that I've set you a challenge along the way. This course is a challenge, prospecting is a challenge, but within the execution of this, I've set you a challenge that I want you to embrace. Don't read over it and think, okay, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who will know? No one's holding me accountable. It's just a bunch of videos that are pre-populated onto a web page. Well, you'll know, and your friends will know, and your colleagues and your family and your business. Challenges are what you need. They will take you out of your comfort zone. And it's through moving out of your comfort zone that you grow as a prospector and as a person, and you embed your learnings and your changes. So embrace the challenge that you see in the document. This is the time for you to challenge yourself and step up and step out and take that personal risk so that you can go and pursue what you once thought was impossible. I'm also going to invite you to create another affirmation, but this time one for your business, in the way that you want your business to look, and then come from that place of having that type of business behind you and supporting you. Because if you've got that confidence that the business does that and it's that type of business, your confidence will show up in the way that you connect with people as potential clients. So right now, start thinking about your 10 dream clients. I say dream clients, but within reach. Dream, but within reach. Someone you know that you can get to, but the thought of reaching out to them or reaching out to someone that knows them is heart racing. That's what I'm looking for over here. I'm just planting the seed. You'll get to that soon. You'll be working on this plan for a number of hours. So set aside and make provision for sufficient time. More than at least 2 to 3 hours to begin with. If you refer to the schedule, you'll see how much time each module requires. But then you'll be going back to the plan and tweaking it and altering it. And I'll support you again in these 6 weeks, because you'll be referring to the plan as you execute that plan, and you can make changes. Your first prospecting plan doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be a plan, and you have to add all the detail that you can to it so that you can execute to point. But along the way, you'll learn and you'll want to make changes. That's fine. But spend the time. The way that we go about this plan is really looking at the what, and you'll take the what out of the 101 ways. And then you'll spend the time on the how. It is time to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that leads me to want to share 3 distinctions with you. In coaching, we speak about distinctions a lot, or we distinguish a lot, because by distinguishing, we draw one thing against another, and the comparison often results in insight that the coachee can take with him or her and learn and grow and develop. And there are 3 that come up over and over and over in the advisor prospecting space. The first is living a reported on versus a created life. Do you want to write your own book or have someone else write it for you? That's really what it's asking or saying. Do you want to create your future through learning how to prospect and working on yourself and executing your prospecting plan and paving your own path? Or do you want to sit passively in the background and wait for the world to move forward and try and hitch a ride with it? I think the former. I think that you being on this course, just your being here right now, you want to live a created life. The second distinction is I have to versus I choose to. You don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to be on this course. You don't have to prospect. You don't have to be a financial advisor. You don't have to make money, lose money. You don't have to have a hobby. You don't have to do anything. Whenever you find yourself using those words, replace them with I choose to, because then you start to take ownership and hold yourself accountable to your choice. I have to prospect to build my business. You don't. You choose to prospect to build your business. You could sit in the background and hope and dream that clients line up at the door, or you could choose to take action and work on yourself and your plan so that you can be the best prospector that you can be and go out there and approach and connect and invite people to be clients. You choose to do that. The third distinction is busyness versus productivity, or busy versus productive. Busyness, or being busy, is an excuse that so many people across all walks of life, professions, industries, jobs, careers, vocations, use to get in their own way of doing what they need to do. I'm so busy, I don't have the time. There's some very modern thinking on the concept of busyness, that it's laziness. Busyness is described as laziness because if you are too lazy to do something, you will create busy as an excuse to not do it. We all have 24 hours in a day. No one has more than 24 hours in a day. And we all sleep during that time. Some sleep more, some sleep less, but there are incredibly successful people at the helm of a multinational business that still train for and compete in triathlons. Yet someone with a meager job with average responsibility might be complaining that they have no time. Everyone has a different experience of time and they manage time differently. But to be busy and use busy as an excuse to get in your way of doing something is spoken about in this modern context as lazy. Versus productive, which is doing what you need to do in order to pursue and achieve what you want to and you need to. That's what's important. So the distinction is to do away with the concept of busyness and focus on being productive. This module is another deep dive, but it's a lot of fun. And the great thing about this is that once you're done, and done isn't finite because you might be tweaking and adjusting this along your way, but once you're done with the plan, you can jump into action around it, which means that you're closer to the 21st module and the 6 weeks of support where you actually put this plan into action. Which means that you're going to go out there and prospect real life human beings to bring into a real life business, to build that business, to then as a result build the life you want. It's all coming together and you are almost there. See you in the next module.